Hello, my wonderful team, all my audience, all these talented people all over the world that want to get included into doing crossover. Crossover is the ultimate. Today, we're going to be talking about some aspect on how you can create a crossover character. How can you, as a, let's say, language professional, wants to produce to boost your career, make make yourself a better professional in a different language? How can you create a character in that particular language? So this is the deal. When you are trying to uh, go forward and start a language career, you need to create a character. Let's say you want to be a tour guide, example. You need to create a character that goes with that language you are going to actually start working with or working on. So you need to actually be able to uh, produce the character you want to show, to expose, to post on your career and your job. If you are, for example, for example, calling center, you need to produce the tone, the voice that goes with that language. In fact, you don't need to create. You can actually copycat and do something that looks like it, or it's similar. It's related to the language you want to perform on. So let me just show you 7 steps, 7 easiest steps on how to create and produce a character in another language. So, step number one, my team, all these talented people viewing me, looking at me now, see this, number one, create and produce the character. That's the first step. You need to produce what kind of a personality, what kind of a person you want you to act like. How do you want your viewers, how do you want your clients, how do you want your, let's say, associate, your partners to look at you and see you as? So you need at some point to do a sort of a performance. Even if it is a business, you have to create and produce a character. You don't just go ahead and start talking or acting like you are in your own language. Remember, every language has their manners, every language has their characters, and there's some situational stuff that you need to adjust when you are crossing over from one language to another language. So, create and produce a character. That's step number one. It's gonna be 7 steps that I'm gonna give to you, so you guys start going on a new career, or you want to boost your career and you wanna recreate it in another language. So this is how it is. Now let's go to step number 2. Step number 2. Now it's coming. So because you need to see all of this. So step number 1, create and produce a character. Step number 2, learn. Okay. Step number 2 is to learn. That's a verb. Learn the related aspects, culture, postures, and manners. So, like example, if you are speaking Spanish, let's say, if you are performing in Spanish, now if your language, if your native language, it is Spanish, and you want, for example, for instance, to perform in Italian. Italians, they do a lot of much more hand manners hand postures uh, than Spanish. So if you want to actually impersonate a, let's say, a performer in Italian, or you wanna expose yourself, if you wanna work in Italian as one of the careers that I already mentioned, you need to know the manners and the postures that Italians, more or less, and generally speaking, will perform and how do they act. So, manners, culture, and posture. Why? Because some manners. I mean, when I talk about posture, I'm talking about the way you stand, how you uh, put yourself. Let's say somebody from French guy would do the glasses stuff, like something like that would be lower. Italian would be more movement, more body language than, for example, English. So you need to learn all the related aspects of culture, manners, and posture. So you perform in the language that you want to produce your character. So step number 3. Now we're gonna go. This is now going into business. Now we're going ahead and we're gonna start going into real business, real deal. This is it. This is the deal. So step number 3. We are going to. I'm sorry, you just rolled my tongue. We're gonna now to specify body moves, body language for the demography and how to communicate with your body. Some you can see if you go, for example, on a TV show and you watch a TV show from, let's say, Russia, right? Also, if you wanna make a comparison, you wanna see a BBC. This is actually publicity. Any news channel from England, you're gonna know that the body language and the moves of the people doing the talking and presenting the news can vary. It's way different. If you watch one channel in Spanish, in news in Spanish, it will shock you if you make the comparison, because if you make the comparisons from a talk show person in English and a talk show person in Spanish, it will be different. So you need to know the move that you want to do, the body language for that demography, and how you will communicate using your body. The body is important. So I'm gonna have to go deeper in this subject on how to move, how to use your body to communicate when you're talking, depending on the language you are going to impersonate the character. Okay, when you are also going to try to impersonate a character in another language, one thing it is way important. This is critical. I say this is critical. This is number one stuff. This is real deal. This is business. Okay. If you wanna move forward, if you want to boost your career in a foreign language, you need to know step number 4. Step number 4 is own. To own. You need to own. So you need to have the sense of what? Ownership. Oh, yes. You need to own the language. You need to feel like you are actually speaking the language that you were born into. Let's say my native language is Spanish. I'm from the Dominican Republic. So I'm performing now in English. So I need to show you as viewers, as my audience, that I own the language. But also, if you are in business, this is very critical. If you're in business, you need to know that you need to own the subject, the topic, because it's critical for you to make your cash. So step number 4, I said again, you need to own. You need to have the sense of ownership so people can trust you as you're speaking, as you're presenting, as you're selling, as you are showing. It depends on the line of business of the language in a question. All right, so we are going close to the end because we are now going to step number 5. Step number 5, connection. You and me. You as my audience, kind of an audience that I'm addressing to. I mean, to creators, to talented people, to good performers like you guys. You need to connect. Yeah, it's another verb. Connection. Connect. How to connect with your partners. How to connect with your client. How can you connect with the people that you are doing the business, the deal, the people that are you're serving in that foreign language. This is very, way too critical if you want to succeed, if you want to go ahead and cross the finish line. So a successful career is important. If you want to go on crossover and you want to start a language career or boost your language career, you need to connect with your audience, with your customers, clients, or if you are in the calling business, I mean, like if you want to be an advocate in a calling center, you need to connect with your caller. So this is one of the things that you have to keep in mind if you want to do a crossover in a foreign language. So if you want to impersonate a character in a foreign language. So this is the subject, the topic that I like the most, because if you actually feel included, if I say feel included, feel that you are part of that, feel yourself as part of the language that you are impersonating, that character you want to. If you do not feel yourself included, if you don't feel like you're part of it, you need to start doing it, because it is one of the, this actually step number 6 should have been step number 6. Feel yourself included. Inclusion should have been one of the first 3 steps. My bad. But I remember it as almost the last, but sure and good that I did it, because it is one of the most important tools if you want to know of it, to feel included, to feel like you belong to that character that you are impersonating. Brought up my tongue. The character that you are impersonating you need to feel like you are part of it, that you are included. Make yourself, feel yourself, act like you are included within the character that you are impersonating. So this is one thing that you need to keep in mind when you are trying to do crossover in a foreign language. So this is going to be the last step of my saga of language tips for you to be a performer in another language. When you're trying to do crossover and you're trying to impersonate a character, you need to watch your language. Oh my God, if you do not do this, uh, especially if you're trying to do something talking to professionals, like if you are in business, if you're in the trading, in the trade, you need to watch your language because you need to make sure you dominate the language, the words you are using, your language. It's important to watch out because one thing it is, you might want to translate something in your own language, and this is when you are gonna get caught on what you call misunderstanding. You do not want to go through misunderstanding when you're trying to impersonate a character in a language that is not your native language. So this is one thing you need to keep in mind when you're trying to do this. So before we go, remember to go now down there and down here, subscribe and do hit the bell. I mean, because it's important for me to be with you anytime you need me. So anytime you need my advices, my informations, my guidelines, it will with YouTube will actually show you, will send you a message. So the bell is way important for you to hit on that and hit on here if you want to subscribe to this channel. Again, I'm Polyglot Job and I am your language trainer.